Well, New York City is the emotional kind of keystone of the game. It's the place, it's the thing we relate to when we look at screenshots of Prototype. It's the thing which we understand. If an example I use a lot is if the game was set on planet Mars and we had a shapeshifter in Mars in the year 3000, and I guess I explained that to you as a concept, then you'd be like, oh, I guess that happens. Is there a lot of shapeshifters in Mars in the year 3000? Did we find them there? It all just feels like fantasy, and you can just accept it. But if we have this set of fantastic events which are taking place in the place that everyone in the world recognizes, everyone recognizes New York, you can relate to it. You know, it's this kind of icon of the world. And if these fantastic events start taking place there, of this viral outbreak and these other events which then take place in the game, there's something to relate to, there's something emotionally that ties you in there.
Prototype is an open world game, means that you can go anywhere. And when we say go anywhere, we really mean it. If you take a look at some of the things that Alex can do, he can run up the side of the building, he can jump across 50 meters, no problem. So New York is your playground. It's huge, and Alex can go anywhere in it just because of what he's able to do from his powers. New York City is not some barren wasteland, right? It's packed full of people, it's packed full of vehicles, it's packed full of taxi cabs, really. So we want to bring all that to the user. The great thing is the taxis aren't just something you drive around in, it's actually something you pick up and throw at the enemy. Not only is it populating the world with vehicles, it's populating the world with ammunition for Alex Mercer.
Well, we have, as in real Manhattan, we have all sorts of different neighborhoods. We have Central Park, we have Soho, we have the downtown, the financial core at the southern end, we have the sort of entertainment district. We have all the different districts you might expect. And of course the buildings all change, and both from an artistic perspective and a gameplay, running around locomotion perspective, they also change.
A lot of games you can, scale to the top of buildings, and that's fine, but what are you going to do when you're up there is not a whole lot to do. You can take a look around, that's it. In Prototype, you're going to be scaling the top of a 60-story building. There's going to be 3 helicopters at the top there waiting for you. So not only can you go up there, you can have a lot of gameplay scheduled around the top of the building.
What we've tried to do is build into our running system, our parkour system, some artificial intelligence. It actually looks ahead and analyzes the environment as you're running along. And it does all sorts of, I guess, to use the term, semi-automatic moves. The way he flips over the lip of a wall or around a sign. People see that in our videos and they go, whoa, like that's one of the most different things about our game compared to a lot of other games of this nature.
We really wanted to build something that was that the player kind of unraveled as they played the game. And how it started was Eric Holmes, the lead designer, had an idea for a character that could weaponize himself, and me and him and Tim Benison sat in a room and yelled at each other until we came up with this kind of premise.
It's the first time, I think, that an open world game anyway has done a conspiracy kind of storyline where there's a lot of mystery about the origin of the character, or about what's even going on and how the character is connected to the events that are happening. And the player, as well as the player character, who's called Alex Mercer, go on this journey of kind of discovery, for want of a better word, together.
What we didn't want was a kind of a moralizing, feel-good hero we didn't want a Captain America, we didn't want an icon of goodness or values. We wanted a character who the player could kind of project his gameplay values through with our character. So in a sense, our character is somewhat constructed out of what players do in free-roaming open-world games. We think players in open-world games are pretty dark people, to be honest. They're not. You put someone in an open-world game where there's no repercussions and you can do anything, people will do bad things. Alex does bad things, and we have a game structured around those bad things.
I really pushed hard for, and Eric and Tim really pushed hard for a character that's real and dark and is tortured. Something's happened to him. He doesn't know what, but he's going to find out. And the people who did this to him, those people he thinks did this to him, are going to pay. He's not just running out and fighting the military to fight the military. He's running out and fighting the military because the targets who know something about his past are there. He's not just going out to fight the infected to fight the infected. They're linked to him somehow, and he needs to know why. So it's not this altruistic Save New York story where he's, oh, I'm going to go kill the infected or stop the military from declaring martial law. That's not even on his radar most of the time. He's a relentless machine bent on finding out exactly what happened to him. His entire motivation is based around memory. He's like a detective, except he can experience the memory.
You are literally consuming the minds of your victims. So, Alex Mercer can consume anybody he meets in New York City, including key people who know something about his past. He doesn't just get their appearance and their biomass from consumption. He gets their memories. And some of these individuals that he finds actually know something about his past, actually more than he does. And so the player collects these memories, and they're literally visualized as movies within the context of the game, with a very distinctive art style. And you have an interface in the game called the Web of Intrigue where you collect them. It looks like a web of nodes, and as you go through the game and consume more people that we call web targets, you get more memories, and they unlock access to other ones, and other targets become available. And so you're literally piecing it together.
As he's acquiring all these memories, as he's acquiring all these experiences and all this knowledge, he's becoming smarter than any human has ever been in the history of humanity, because he's getting lifetimes of experience in his own at a frantic pace. Within a period of a week, he could have 100 years. He could have 1,000 years. So we transform him from something which is fairly relatable to the player when he picks up the controller and is, along with the character saying, what's going on, I'm figuring that out, into someone that's quite brilliant and dark and closer, I guess, to Hannibal Lecter than to the average guy on the street.
There's no cute and fuzzy buddies in Alex Mercer's future.